Hello everybody, my name is Hasty Swampert and I am back to give you all the first week of the Universal Pokemon Association Season 7. For this week, I ended up battling Narth Vadar, who is the coach of the Scarborough Staraptors. And if you look at his team, he has Zygarde 50%, he has Suicune, Arcanine, Delmice, Miltank, Waterdall, Steelix the Mega, Florges, Thundurus-I, Alakazam, Scrafty, and Skuntank, and Zygarde and Thundurus have their Z moves. One thing that I ended up noticing in Narth's roster is that Slowbro walled a couple of things on his team, like Zygarde, unless it was choice, and it also walled Arcanine if it didn't have Wild Charge or Crunch. So I thought that maybe I could do some kind of bulky Slowbro. So I didn't know what to do originally. I was thinking Scald and Psyshock for decent damage. My original plan was to do Trick Room full attacker, but I thought that Slowbro would be better being bulkier, being a bulky Pokemon. So because of that, I just stuck with Scald, Psyshock, Slack Off, leftovers. I don't know what to think of for the last move, so I just thought, you know what, Calm Mind could probably work. So I thought Calm Mind Slowbro would do good. And Psyshock was originally Grass Knot, but I knew Psyshock would be better in case the Suicune was Crocoon. Then eventually I'd probably be able to beat it unless it had Roar. So that's Slowbro. There really isn't too much to say. It's just Slowbro. Now, next up, I thought that Electivire would have been a good teammate because he did have a couple of weaknesses to electric moves, and he also has Ice Punch to deal with Zygarde, even though they really speed tie. Cross Chop was there for the Mega Aggron, even though Mega Aggron's a fat Pokemon. And when I mean fat, I mean really fat. And Volt Switch, or I was thinking Volt Switch, or I was thinking Power Up Punch, but I just stuck with Volt Switch. And that's it for Electivire. Next, we have Mega Houndoom, and I picked Mega Houndoom for my third Pokemon on the Week 1 match because it's just really fast. A couple of his Pokemon were weak to fire moves, like Aggron, and there were also some Pokemon that... It's just that Dark also has neutral coverage on a majority of his team, too. And it outspeeds Thundurus, which is important. Originally, I was going to go for a Sunny Day set, and it would have had Solar Beam for the Suicune, but I decided that I'm just going to go with something different. So I went with Destiny Bond and Sucker Punch. Sucker Punch is for the Alakazam, and Destiny Bond is in case Elvis, the Houndoom, has a bad matchup. Now, the reason I went with this instead of the Solar Beam set is because I don't really like running setup sweepers all that much. And the reason for that is because whenever I try to bring like a setup Pokemon, I usually screw up, or I usually bring it in the wrong matchup that it ends up doing nothing, which is why I don't run setup sweepers that often. I usually bring walls and attackers, not full-on sweepers. Though I did do it a few times with Gorebytes last season, but besides that, I just went with this Houndoom set. So that's really it for Houndoom, and I had Flash Fire to switch into Arcanine's Flare Blitz if the opportunity arose. Now, that was Elvis. This is Shooting Star the Excadrill because only shooting stars break the mold. Ask Smash Mouth. But back to Excadrill, we have Earthquake, Iron Head, Rapid Spin, and Rock Slide. He's an Adamant Nature. I made him a little bulkier. I gave him less speed because he has weird speed. Narth has very weird speed tiers, and with a Chopper Berry I can take whatever move from Thundurus he has. It could be an all-out pummeling, it could be a Focus Blast. Hidden Power Fire won't do much to it, but Earthquake, Iron Head, and Rock Slide hits the whole squad neutrally. And yeah, that's Excadrill. There's not much else to say. Mold Breaker was there for... It was for Aggron. Now Ringo the Heracross, because Ringo is a beetle. We have a Guts Flame Orb set with the 2 main stab moves of Close Combat and Mega Horn, and Facade to complete the coverage. Let's just stick with complete, because Florges walls both these stab moves. And another good thing with Guts is that he wouldn't have to worry about Scald Burns. I ran Protect just in case. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Ringo is just very powerful with Guts. Some of his Pokemon were slower, so I would have been able to capitalize on just punching a couple of holes in his team, and he would have had like 0 switch-ins, which would have been even good, because the only things that really wall these 2 stab moves were Thundurus and Florges. If he tried to bring in Thundurus, it would take around 90% from a Guts Close Combat or Mega Horn. That's all. And the speed is there to outspeed Scrafty, and there was something that had 100 speed, but I don't remember what it was. I think it was just there for Scrafty, and in case something was around the speed number. But that's it for Ringo. And last but not least, we have Tornadus-I, nicknamed Delta. Now, Delta, with the speed EVs, is there to outspeed Alakazam. The point of this was Knockoff would just take out Alakazam, no questions asked. However, I was originally thinking of Roserade, but I thought I would be too weak to Alakazam, so I decided to bring my Tornadus. And the coverage itself is just really good. Hurricane hits his Delmice. Heat Wave was good against the Mega Aggron. Grass Nuts for Suicune. It's just Tornadus would have been a really good Pokemon to bring against this match, especially with its coverage. And I went with the Timid Nature just so I could have more bulk to take hits. Unfortunately, Tornadus had no real moves against Thundurus. I could run Hidden Power Ice, but I thought all these other moves were important. And if I could have a 5th move slot, it would have probably been U-Turn. And this is the problem with Tornadus. Plenty of coverage moves, not enough move slots. And that's it for the team. And I will see you all at the post-commentary. Okay, so looking at Narth's team, he ended up bringing Zygarde, he ended up bringing Suicune, Thundurus-I, Alakazam, Scrafty, and at last but not least, Mega Aggron. Now, I decided here to lead with Tornadus because Tornadus is fast, but I ended up finding out that that was a big mistake of mine because just like in the last season, in the last week of Season 6, Ice Demon Gray led with his Thundurus-I, Narth leads with his Thundurus-I. Why are people leading with Thundurus-I against me? Is this like some new trend now? Whenever you battle Hasty Swampert, you lead Thundurus-I? What's the matter with you people? Screwing me over this way? I'm just kidding. But I knew this was a big mistake, so I just decided here to switch out, and I decided to go into my Electivire, and he goes for a Psychic, which I thought was very strange, because I was hoping for an electric move to get a Motor Drive boost, but that didn't happen. And right here I go for an Ice Punch, which was a mistake. Going into his Aggron, I shouldn't have just Wild Charged. That probably would have been the better choice. And now he Mega Evolves, and I decide here to switch out via Volt Switch and go into Slowbro because he can take any of Aggron's hits. And he goes for a Stealth Rock. Now here, I expected him to go for... This was strange. I expected him to go for like an Earthquake or predicting me to switch again, or if he's going for a Dragon Tail or a Roar. So I decide here to go into my Heracross, but he actually switches into his Suicune, which was not even a better choice, because now I get my Flame Orb off for free. So I just go for a Mega Horn because nothing can switch in, and he goes for Scald, does not do much, and here he goes for a Protect. I'm going to just make this go a little quicker. I go for another Mega Horn, I Mega Horn again, goes down. There, I saved you a couple of seconds. Now here he brings in his Thundurus, and I was hoping for him to go to a Z move, because right here I went for Protect. And if he went for a Z move, would have been a game changer. But he didn't. He just went for a Psychic. So I knew right here that I should switch out, and I go out into Electivire again, and I actually get the Motor Drive boost this time, but he goes out into his Aggron, and I do no damage. And I thought that Aggron was going to be a complete dead weight because the point of Electivire was for Suicune, and Suicune is gone already, so I just decide to use my Gigavolt Havoc, and it does not do a lot. It only does 38%. Not much. It's a pretty fat Pokemon. But there goes my Electivire, and here I go into Houndoom, and I just click Dark Pulse, expecting it to do enough, and it does do enough. Now here, I made a big mistake, and I went for a Destiny Bond. Now, in hindsight, I thought this was going to be a smart play. Nonetheless, I should have saved Houndoom and gone into something like Heracross, sack that off, or Slowbro. But Houndoom could have done more to this team because it outsped the Thundurus. It had Sucker Punch for the Alakazam. It could have done some damage to Scrafty, but I thought, nah, I'm just gonna Destiny Bond here, which was very stupid of me to do. Really thought it was smart, but it just gave me one less answer for Thundurus. So here, I just screwed myself over, and Elvis the Houndoom dies, and I take down Zygarde with it. So here, I decide to go back out in the Tornadus. He goes back out into his Thundurus. Not a good matchup, have to switch out again, and he takes out my Heracross with the Thunderbolt. And at this point, I decided to go into my Excadrill, expecting it to be a Scarf. He switches out into his Scrafty. I Rock Slide. I probably shouldn't have Iron Headed. Could have gone for a middle play. Now here, I decide to go into Tornadus. He knocks off, does good amount of damage. I lose my Expert Belt, and here I go for a Hurricane. He switches in his Thundurus, and it does only 35%. Now here, I was scared that he was going to go for a Nasty Plot and just take me out. So, I was thinking, if I Hurricane again and hope for a confusion, I'll be in a good position. So I decide, Hurricane again, but he did not Nasty Plot. He instead just went for a Psychic, which I don't understand why. But now I bring in my Excadrill, and at this point, he reveals his Z move to be all-out pummeling, and I have the Chople Berry, and I'm able to take that with, not with ease, but I was just able to defeat it. And yeah, there goes Thundurus. Now here, he goes out into Alakazam, and the rest is history. And that is it. There, I saved you 30 seconds. If you enjoyed this video, I would like it if you to leave a like, comment, subscribe. That is if you enjoyed it. And GG to Narth, and I will see you all next time.